Great. This is another one of my art for inspiration. We don't have a whole lot of time here, so I'm just going to do this pretty quickly. This is a book which I used to check out from the library often as a young teen, and I ended up tracking down a copy pretty cheap. I think I got it for $8 or $9 back a few years back, actually. But it definitely was one that I had to pay late fees on quite a bit. Yeah, so let's go and get to this here. All right, so this is The Great Comic Book Artist, Volume 2. I don't know if I'm going to mispronounce this. I've always said Ron Goulart. I don't know if that is correct. But more importantly, it's got a very awesome Arthur Adams cover, and then this back cover art. I don't think that this is published work from anywhere. I think this was specifically designed for this this release here. And this book came out, 1989, so probably had production in 1988. Right here you got like this, kind of like this Thor type character shooting a blast into the Superman type character, some sort of a Red Sonja thing, dinosaur with some characters that loosely resemble Fantastic Four, and then this character with a pistol that, I mean, at first glance I thought it was Rorschach from Watchmen. But anyways, he's just kind of flexing a little bit of dynamic angles here. And really, I mean, this is the money right here. This cover piece is insane. And he has fringe versions of, like a fringe version of the Hulk, Superman, Spider-Man, Wolverine, I guess. I'm not really sure. Doctor Doom, obviously. Some sort of dinosaur. Wonder Woman. Blue Troll, I don't really know. I feel like he repurposed this character in that 2-issue run of X Factor he did. This kind of looks like Robin, if Robin was gender flipped and mixed with Green Lantern. And then obviously, art, besides dinosaurs, got a tiny T-Rex here, but the chimpanzee, one of the best, and the alien guy back here. So yeah, anyways, this book here, anytime I'd see it at the library, I would always grab it, and I'm sure others did too, because as soon as I would bring it back, it usually disappeared for weeks at a time. So, very cool book to own. And it's just a collection of artists at that time. So 1989, 88, 89, when it was being produced. It says here 1933. It is not 1933. Copyright 1989, Ron Goulart. So, yeah, the contents, a bunch of artists here. I mean, really for me, it's all about Art Adams in this. I mean, really, this is not a lot of the other artists in here. I've read through this entire thing. You do have Mazzucchelli in there, but it's sort of like kind of the way that Wizard magazine would do like a blurb on an artist, which is a little more informative, but not it's not overbearing, I guess. So it's got an introduction. Boom, starts right off. Gives you a little bit of background on the artist here, and then a piece of original artwork on this side. So in '89, I didn't have any exposure to original artwork whatsoever. So seeing this stuff here blew my mind, to see a lot of this stuff in the line art form. Some of it, I feel like that's not Zipatone. I almost feel like it's a color, like a color page that they had scanned, and you see like a Chadwick there. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not really sure. The reproduction in this is not great, but again, it's really cool to see the nice crisp line art in this, although there is some questionable areas here where it is possible this was a color scan. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, Art Adams. I'll read this one real quick for you, just to give a background of when this book came out. Art Adams was fresh, like pretty new in the mainstream comic side. It says Art Adams has been drawing professionally only a few years, but he's already a fan favorite and a poll winner. In fact, he will probably turn out to be the most successful newcomer of the decade. His material started appearing in fanzines in the early 80s. By 1984, he was drawing for Pacific Comics' Alien Worlds. And following year, he was hired by Marvel. Since 1985, he's drawn major characters such as X-Men, Superman, Batman, and Gumby. Don't know why they included Gumby in there. Oh, I guess he had that one special. Adams, born in '63, grew up in West Virginia, resides in Northern California, self-taught artist. Quotes, "I've never gone to school or anything," he told Comics Interview. Things seem to be working out okay that way. He was influenced by Michael Golden's work on the Micronauts, Walt Simonson's artwork in general, and just lots of people, movies, and TV shows, blah, blah, blah. He was tapped by Marvel in '84, but the debut of his 6-issue Longshot Limited series didn't take place until 1985. So I guess he was showing it off. In touting the series' two amazing heroes, scriptwriter Ann Nocenti said of Adams' penciling, "The artwork speaks for itself. It's gorgeous. I'd give him a rough idea for a character, and when he gave me back the drawing of the character, in a sense, he had made the character come alive." Okay, it talks a little bit about Longshot here. Because again, you know, I mean, it was really what they were using to promote Adams at the time. Let's see here. So he did have a few other projects then, because it says Adams' next work turns to establish Marvel properties. He worked on X-Men Annual, New Mutants Annual, and the Web of Spider-Man Annual. So 3 annuals right there, and they were all amazing work. He also drew Cloak and Dagger. I think that was a fill-in issue for that original 12-issue run. Rick Leonardi, and they were all kind of, and I believe Silvestri had an issue in that as well, that run. For DC, he drew a story for Batman #4 and the entire Action Comics Annual #1. In 1987, demonstrating his versatility, Adams produced a 40-page humor book for Comico. This was Gumby's Summer Fun Adventure. Yeah, any fans of Adams, pick up his Gumby books. He did that one, and he did one other as well. They're pretty cool. It's just him flexing a little bit of detail and getting to see him do some, you know, some of the comedic relief type pages. This is kind of funny. Since he's essentially a penciler, Adams has worked with several inkers, among them Dick Giordano, Will Spertasio, and Terry Austin. The Gumby saga he inked himself. Adams has been pleased with his various co-workers and has said, "I've had good luck with inkers." And then it says, among his current projects are a long-shot graphic novel and the cover of this book. It's funny, they spent all this time on Longshot, like pretty much this here, and then it just plugs it again. So anyways, yeah, so description of the artist and a page. I'll just thumb through this here. Okay, so you get Murphy Anderson right over here, Buck Rogers artwork. Sergio Aragones, you know, Grew the Conqueror, or Grew, I guess. Stephen Bissett. Brian Boland, very influential to a lot of artists. Wayne Boring. I am not familiar with Wayne Boring. As many times as I've looked through this book, I never took a deep dive into most of these artists. Carl Burgess, The Red Seal, I don't know who that is. Jack Burnley. They have a lot of these old school artists in here that at the time, as a kid, I just was not interested in. Yeah, Nick Cardy, Paul Chadwick, Concrete. I didn't see a physical copy of Concrete until I was in my 20s. Our comic shops did not order that book. Johnny Craig. Robert Crumb, Snarf. Bob Davis. Mort Drucker. Absolutely my favorite Mad Magazine artist. His caricatures were insane. Will Elder. Let's see who else we got here. Bill Ellie, E-L-Y, Ellie. Ken Ernst, Greg Flessel, Gil Fox. Again, this is all a callback to books that just were not, you know, they're older books that were not exciting to me at the time as a young teen trying to learn. Jerry Grandinetti, Mike Grell. Everyone knows Mike Grell. Yeah, this was... Mike Grell's kind of hit and miss for me. I'm not gonna lie, kind of hit and miss. Milt Gross. I'll say Gross. I don't want to say Gross. Chad Grothkop. Erwin Hazen. Russ Heath. Well known. Graham Ingalls. Okay, see, I've seen this name 100%. I always say Jaffe, Al Jaffe. I don't know if that's correct. Mike Kaluta. Everyone knows Mike Kaluta. What's funny here is this here, at first glance, almost feels like early... It almost feels like Dark Knight era Miller to me. For some reason. I don't know why. Clue Comics. Fred Kita. Bob Lubers. Russ Manning. That was Magnus Robot Fighter. Yeah. Norman Moore. David Mazzucchelli. That's so awesome. Tarp Mills. Ed Moore. Paul Murray. Yeah, a lot of cartoon comic artists here. Bob Oxner. Carl Pfeiffer. Fred Ray. Pierce Rice. Frank Robbins. Booty Rogers with Big Shot Comics. Fred Schwab. Howard Sherman. Oh, these are alphabetized last name. Dan Spiegel. Dave Stevens. You know, I like that they did this, but I really would have liked to have seen like an interior, because what they did here again, this is a color image, and then they, you know, did the photocopy or rotocopy. I don't even know what you call the process, but it's where you get a little bit of the grayscale, but it doesn't print correctly. George Storm. Kurt Swan. Well known. Frank Thomas. This always throws me off. You know, a few years after this, I started following the career of Frank Thomas, who was a first baseman on the Chicago White Sox. Jimmy Thompson. Ogden Whitney. Mary Wilshire. And then that's it. So yeah, anyways, yeah, really, this is, you know, this this was a book that, I mean, so I'm assuming, you know, anytime I would get it, I would just kind of stop, you know, right about here, and then I would thumb through it, and then I would just always land back on this, you know, and just kind of really study all the noodling and some of the pacing of this page, you know. Yeah, this page is not terribly important to me. It was just that the fact that Adam's work in black and white at this time in my life, I had never seen it. So seeing this was to me was insane, because I've only, you know, been exposed to the full color work. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, it's you know, it's a cool book for me to own. If you're a fan of Adams and you don't have this, for, you know, the completionist, I would say grab it. I don't imagine it would be over 20 shipped. You get some cool original panel designs back here, and nice kind of glossy cover. I haven't had any issues with the binding on this. It's stayed together pretty well so far, and yeah, and this, you know, and the funny thing too with the coloring on this, it reminds me a bit of the Uncanny X-Men poster that he had illustrated and was made into a 24 by 36 poster. And I, you know, I still kick myself to this day. That poster was destroyed at some point. So I did have an original of that. But anyways, yeah. So Completionist, great comic book artist, Volume 2, cover by Arthur Adams, and back cover art as well.